the realtor on the sign, I'm going to get a better deal. Well, you're going to be dealing with someone that's licensed and you're not. So you want someone who's going to just kind of hold your hand and walk you through the process. And the good thing about that is, like, we at DD Home Realty, we don't charge buyers anything to use our services.
Wow.
So our services are absolutely free, where there are some companies that may charge a transaction fee, but we are free, and we're going to share our knowledge with you. And you can call us in the evening. You'll be able to call us in the evenings or in the mornings, whereas if you go straight to a builder, they get off at 6.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
so we just want people to know that we're here for you, and we will hold your hand and walk you through the buying process.
Absolutely. And will you touch a little bit, because I get this a lot, they will come to me, prospective buyers will come to me, and then they want to go to the builder. Can you explain what that relationship is? Because buyers, I think, get that a little confused. They're not really sure what that person is at the model, what's their responsibility to them, as opposed to a realtor.
Right. So the person who sits in the model, oftentimes they're licensed just like us, but they don't work for you, they work for the builder. They are an employee of a builder. So their job is to make sure that the builder benefits. And there is money on the table for you to have your own realtor already. It's not going to cost you any more. That's set aside. In fact, sometimes it's easier for that site agent if you have your own realtor, because you're talking to someone that has experience and information, and they may talk over your head. Whereas if you have your own agent that's basically educating you. Let's see, I used to be a teacher.
Okay.
So even though I'm in sales, most of what I do is education. So we do home buyer seminars, virtually.
Okay.
And we basically say, here's what needs to happen. And we talk about the steps to the buying process. They're not going to do all of that with you, and they can only sell you at that one community or with that particular builder, whereas we can sell new construction, we can do short sales, foreclosures, we can do all of it. So we have a wider array of options for you. So if you go to new construction and it turns out that you're not approved for enough to buy a brand new home, they're just going to send you away. They're not going to give you any ideas of what your other options are.
Exactly. So actually working with a realtor, we know, doesn't cost us anything, right?
Right.
On the
I can
buyer.
only speak for
DD Home Realty,
right,
okay?
It has been times where in markets, I've seen where you might pay for buyer representation.
Exactly.
But traditionally in our area, the real estate fees are paid for by the seller, whether the seller is the builder or a private owner. Traditionally, that's what happens. Now, there may be some exceptions.
Sure. Okay, very good. And so it's very prudent. In most builders' cases, or in a lot of builders' cases I've seen, is you want to enter with the realtor, your first visit.
Right. We do have some builders who are saying, like, I've been working with you, a year, I've helped you get your credit together and everything, I help you sell your old house or whatever, and you just driving down the street and you tell your husband, honey, let's stop in this model home. They're going to say, your agent wasn't with you, so they cannot go on this contract and help you negotiate.
Correct.
So it's like, I'm out, and then you're going to call me when you're in a contract and say, can you interpret this? Or
Absolutely.
I didn't realize that I didn't get these upgrades. I thought everything was included in this base price. I didn't know I needed to pay $10,000 for the lot.
Absolutely.
I cannot help you.
Exactly.
I've seen instances where people have gotten so deep into things where I said, you need an attorney.
Absolutely.
So I'm not an attorney.
Right.
So I like to get to people before it gets to that point.
Absolutely. Okay, so far we now understand that we don't need 20% as a down payment, okay? We don't have to have perfect, I'm sorry.
I think the gentleman had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Correct. Well, you have a
Not
down,
quite.
now you have down payment, you don't have a down payment, but you do have closing costs with VA loan. Okay. You don't have a down payment, you have closing costs. Correct. Correct, that's right. So that would be income driven. So then that's where we're going to fill out. Good question. So the question was, he's a veteran. Thank you for your service. And so he wants to he comes in, he calls me, he wants to purchase a home. If he doesn't need a down payment, how is he going to get qualified? And so that's when we're going to fill out an application. We're going to income qualify you. Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. So sounds like your name, sir? George. Okay, George. So it sounds like you have your own lot, right? You own your land. No. Okay. Mhm. So that's not necessarily. So that particular program, guaranteed rate, does not offer. So that's typically called a construction to perm loan. So you would work with your realtor, and then your realtor. Typically, most realtors have several lenders that they work with. Okay, so that's why a realtor is a good resource because a realtor is going to be able to assess your needs and put you in the right place, guide you in the right place. And so guaranteed rate doesn't offer that, but another lender may. Talking to your realtor, they're going to help you find that lot, and they're going to help you get to the right lender to achieve that goal. Mhm. So, y-
The risk factor.
mhm.
The risk factor. So if you're talking, if I'm gonna go secure a lot for you,
Mhm.
okay, and you're gonna build a house from dirt, they're gonna want more money, okay?
Mhm.
So sometimes you will not be able to get a VA loan for that. Like
Correct.
I've had a VA buyer who wanted to secure a lot and build on it. And because I knew the owner, the builder, I was able to get them to go ahead and he did a regular VA loan. He purchased the lot for her and put it into the loan amount as if she was building a community. Right, but you gotta think about it. If you're building in a subdivision, the builder, all the people, the contractors, they're gonna be out there anyway. But if they're going just to your lot, that's more money. I gotta get a septic tank for you, maybe, everything just for you. That's going to be, this is a custom home. That's gonna cost more money. So it's different, like if you go buy a suit that's already ready off the rack, or as opposed to a suit that's made just from you, custom, straight from Italy, that's gonna cost you. So it's a little bit more risk.
Absolutely.
Not necessarily. But they're gonna want, whereas if you're buying an existing home, usually we can get a binder deposit, which is we have steps that we would talk about. One of the steps is submitting a binder deposit, um, and we can get a binder deposit sometimes as low as $1,000. But if you building from dirt, they may say, hey, we need 25 to break ground, we need 50, because they're taking a risk and doing everything that you want.
Right.
You want purple carpet. They can't resell that. So you got to think about if they're doing something special for you. If you got the money, they can make it happen for you. But you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to give? And if you don't like the price, well, what am I willing to compromise? Because I don't care if you spend $1 million, it's going to be something that you would have done differently, or you may say, I would have liked that master bedroom to be a little bit larger. So it's some give and take.
And you have to remember, again, it's custom. So the builder's really shifting the risk on you. So you're going to take the loan out. So if you go to a community and there are models there, that builder's building a lot of homes. They're not going to customize it to your liking, because if you fall through, they can sell it. But when you secure a lot, now it's specific to George. It's what George wants. And so therefore, you're going to hold the loan for that while it's being built. Most custom builders rarely hold the loan. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sure. You're looking for your forever home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This gentleman has a question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So tonight you're going to get information, right, to help kind of clear things up and maybe answer some questions. To be very specific, you would have to reach out to us individually to talk about your specifics of what's going on and the dynamics of how a loan program would work for you on my behalf. For real estate, I think it would be the same way. I'm sure Dee Dee would have to speak to you a little bit more, because to me that was a very general question. You spoke about a manufactured home, and then you spoke about a lot. So I'm not clear as to, are you trying to build a home, or you own 2 lots currently? Okay. So you're trying to build a home on those, or are you?
So if you just buy a manufactured home, you don't necessarily need to use it. It would be like buying a car. A realtor. So if you're buying like a brand new manufactured home, you could literally go to wherever they sell
Sell
those
'em.
and buy one. Right. Yeah.
Mm,
Mhm.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Has to be updated. Mhm. So it sounds like you've explored the option of the mobile home, and you want to see if possibly building it on it would be an option? That's what you're trying to figure out. Okay. So as I shared with George, Guaranteed Rate does not offer the build programs, those particular loans. So you could possibly speak with Dee Dee from Dee Dee Home Realty and see if she has a lender that would offer that type of loan for you. Does that make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So it would be making a phone call. If you're looking to build a home, it would be making a phone call in the next steps. She would help get you to the right person. That right person would the goal would be for them to guide you and how to get that to achieve building a home.
Right. For me, that's not what I do. The first thing I would do is help get you with someone to help get your credit score up before I did anything else. Because if you're telling me that you're limited because of your score, then I think it's best, which we have some credit counselors. We do have a free company that we use as a nonprofit organization. We don't ever receive your personal information. We never pull your credit. We don't usually ask you for your social. That's not our job. What we do, we have people that are credit counselors. They'll ask for that specific information. We help you to find the right house at the right price once you've been pre-approved. So if you come to me and you say, Dee Dee, I need help with my credit, I'm gonna get you with a credit counselor to help you. If you're telling me your credit score is in the 500s, a lot of times they're gonna want you at a 640 or better, so they will take care of your specific situation. I think it's important that we talk about the steps to the buying process tonight, and I think that'll answer some questions. And any specific questions about your specific situation, you're able to contact us individually so that, we don't just have everything out, all your business out in public and it's being televised. So. Okay. Sure. I don't have a program. We do credit. We have free credit counselors that will talk to you. Mhm. So I don't know if I'm answering the question right, but I'll try. Um, we have a nonprofit organization who does not charge, who will basically say, hey, they'll ask specific questions and they'll help you by saying, here's what you need to do. They give you an action plan, and then they basically follow up with you to see that this is happening. So sometimes it's not a matter of just they make stuff disappear off the credit. It may be some legwork, but they may say, hey, here is a sample letter that you can write and send this out. So it may be some work on your behalf, but at least they can tell you. And I've seen them help people, but you might have to do a little bit of the legwork yourself. And then what happens is we check on you to say, hey, how's it coming along? And you say, oh, I've done this, this, and this. And we just kind of stay on your radar so that when you're ready, we can help you find that home, or we can figure out, like, contractors. So it sounds like when you were talking about them building a shell, like they were saying, you're going to be your own contractor, and then you're going to subcontract things out. We don't really get involved with that. Like, my cousin did that. It took him like 2 years to build his house. because he had to get all the different people himself. So we just kind of like will help if we need to help you find a builder or an architect to design a house, something like that. And we'll help, or if you say, I want to buy a mobile home that's already, there'll be certain stipulations, it may have to be tied down a certain way. We'll have to find a lender that will do the manufactured home, because not every lender does that. Is that something that you all do?
Absolutely, it is.
Okay, so then that's something Annie could help you with, you know, and you're right, there's certain stipulations as far as how old that well is, the septic, how close they are to each other, when has it been, they're gonna test your well water, so it's a whole lot of little steps that we just kinda like help to guide you through that. But when I was talking about first getting the credit counseling, I think that's the first step, so you won't be frustrated with people saying no.
So I think that's where Dee mentioned that I think you guys walked in a little later, let's talk about the process. So the process to home buying, if you're looking at an existing home, is you want to start with your lender. So the lender is going to credit qualify you to get you pre-approved to go to the real estate agent. So the step is you're going to fill out an application. We're going to look at your debt to income ratio, right? We're going to examine, of course, credit. But in addition to credit, qualifying to purchase a home, we have to look at your debt to income ratios to make sure you can afford the home, right? So that we do that in the process of the actual application. So you come to me, I ask you various questions, we drill down to your debt to income ratio. That's going to tell us whether you qualify for the 1.3 or whatever $1 million home. So based on that, we get you pre-approved. Then the next step is you go see the real estate agent. Share that pre-approval with her. She's going to drill down properties that are going to fit that criteria. I mean, your criteria, but with that whatever that pre-approval letter states. If it's 1.3 million, that's what she's going to look for, anything in there. Or whatever you tell her you want to be. Okay? Once you guys identify a home, you go look at the property. If you like it, you get a contract set up. The contract's approved. The seller, you and the seller come to an agreement, and then you come back to me, and we start the actual loan process where we're going to send it to an underwriter. So the underwriter can actually look at it and give us a decision on it. But in order to find out whether you can afford that $1.3 million home, we got to get you into a lender to get you pre-approved. No, that's where, so when you leave me, so right, you come to me, we get you pre-approved, right? We look at all your income, all of that, got that pre-approval in hand. Then we're gonna go, then you're gonna choose your realtor. Then the realtor is gonna negotiate with the owner of that property. So that's where the price comes into. There's a sign in the yard, right?
Sure.
Right? So we talked about that too.
Sure.
How important it is to have your representation, right? Because what that means, when there's a sign in the yard, that means that that particular realtor is representing the seller. So you owe it to yourself so that realtor can do that, right? They can represent both of you all. But how do you feel? If you got someone, I mean, for me, I want someone that has a fiduciary responsibility to me and me alone. That's right. To negotiate for me. I don't need you to have a fiduciary responsibility to both of us. Right, so that's when you get your own real estate agent so that you know everything you share with her, that she's fighting for you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody's situation is different. I've seen people who have like minor things and they're ready in 30 days. I've seen people work on things for an entire year. It just depends on how bad it is. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. You don't have bad credit. You probably don't have credit. So what we would do, Annie would probably say, hey, I need you to have a couple lines of credit. Let's get you a secured credit card where you basically go to your bank or credit union and you may say, hey, here's $500. I want to get a secured credit card. And then you're going to establish credit by maybe you get your gas on it and then you pay it off or almost off every month. You know, I don't know if my son was fresh out of college and he was able to buy a house, and what they did was use alternative credit.
I was going to say, so there are things out there that are alternative credit. If you're paying rent, so if you pay rent for a year, cable bill, car insurance, those are different. Yeah, those are different things that are alternative credit. So what I would ask for as the lender is, let's use your rent for instance. I would ask you to give me something from your landlord, to state that you've paid on time for a year. So we kind of build a credit profile for you.
So how long do you think that would take?
If you don't, you have to have some rudimentary things, some basic things, right? So the rent would be one of them, a gas bill. But if you're going to start with a credit card, that is going to take a year. But that's okay, George. You know what? I worked with a lady once, and I'm sure Dee Dee has stories, that it depends on how bad you want it, George. I worked with a lady, she was a year. It took her, she came to me, we looked at her things, and she wasn't quite ready, and she said, I'm coming back. And it took her a year. She would call, we would talk to each other periodically, stay in touch, and in a year's time, she came back.
Well, Annie might be able to. Yeah. Well,
you know what, George? You know what they say, right? God is always on time.
Right.
He may not come when you want him, but he's always on time.
That's yeah. Well, that's why we want to keep you encouraged.
That's right.
We get your information, and
that's
we're
right.
not pushy. We're not trying to just sell you something.
Absolutely.
We're going to check on you. Hey, Mr. George, how's everything coming along? How's that secured credit card coming along? But you might you might be pleasantly surprised when you talk to Annie and she pulls your credit and she's like, did you know that you have this on your credit? You have awesome credit. So we don't know if you have a cell phone, they may be reporting that as credit.
Absolutely.
So you may be pleasantly surprised. My 21-year-old was able to buy a house, and I didn't want him to right away because I thought, I believe in home ownership, but I thought he might not be ready. And he sent me an email saying, look at the alternative credit. I never taught him about alternative credit.
Absolutely.
But he used alternative credit, and he is a homeowner.
That's it. That's it.
So it may be quick.
21. But
that's
21.
Okay.
That's okay, George.
And
it's
you're
never too
a
late.
VA buyer. He didn't get to use his VA loan, but you have that in your favor.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah.
So we have 2 agents there. So Dee Dee Home Realty has 8 other agents. So we have Carolyn Kears, please raise your hand. And we have Christopher Cooper. They are licensed agents at Dee Dee Home Realty. So together we work to find the right home for people.
I'm the lender. Guaranteed rate.
So
It depends on what you want to do.
Yeah, if you sign in, okay, if you sign in, we're gonna reach out to you.
Absolutely. To begin with a realtor, are you ready for this? Oh,
Well, I'm gonna give you the information for a free nonprofit organization. So I know you've paid for a company, but I'm leery of a lot of this stuff out here, a lot of these companies. But I will give you these ladies' information, and it's absolutely free. It's a nonprofit company. The only thing I will say is they're very busy, and because they're free, people are calling them. So definitely email them and be persistent about getting with them. They will usually do a virtual consultation with you.
absolutely.
Okay, so the company, DD Home Realty, has only been in existence since 2016. I first was licensed in real estate in 2001. And so the agents have been in real estate a different number of years. But we have experienced agents, most of which are degreed, and all of them have to care about people. So I like to think we're some of the smartest, hardest working people out there.
And I've been in the financial industry for 14 years and dedicated to mortgage the last 4 years. My company is. So I'm with Guaranteed Rate. Mm-hmm.
So I haven't registered with them, but I also have no complaints, so I pray that I stay clean. Well, we have a website, and we have social media. And what I recommend is, if you want, you'll see some testimonials out there, and we just have some customers that I could say, hey, you call this person, and they talk. But I'll tell you this: most of our business is word of mouth. Okay, so we don't do a whole lot of advertising just because people keep telling people about us. And we do events like this. So there are a lot of people who won't take time out of their day to come talk to people if they're not being paid. We do a virtual home buyer seminar every second Thursday. The second Tuesday is our meeting. So the second Thursday is when we do the virtual home buyer seminar, which Guaranteed Rate is going to be on there on the, is it the 8th?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
the 8th. So what we'll do is we want to get your information so we can send you a link and you can join us on Zoom. And so we have people that come on every single month until they get in the house. I have one couple that's like, they've been on and out. They just closed on their house and they say, Dee Dee, we'd like to come back and give our testimony. So hopefully we can get them on and just tell how they stuck with the program and they have their dream home.
So don't give up, George.
I think you're really close.
I think so. I think so.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Well, can we talk a little bit about what things that you will be expected to do? If you're going to buy a home, because I want to give you a little idea about how much money I'd like you to set aside. So, like when you want to buy a home and we go out, you get your pre-approval with Annie, and we go shopping when you get your letter. So we're going out and we're trying to find this home that you're looking for. It's a very competitive market right now. You probably heard that it's a seller's market. So what that means is we have a whole lot of buyers, not a lot of inventory. Okay, so this is not for the faint at heart. So that means it may take us a little longer, and we may put in a few offers before we get the right home, but we will work hard. If you don't give up on us, we won't give up on you. Well, good money helps. It sure does help, because I've seen people with good credit and no money.
Absolutely.
So what we want to do is make sure that we prepare you in every way, because they're going to look at your income,
Yep.
Sounds like you got that, down. They're gonna look at your credit history, your assets, and your debt. Okay, so there are a lot of people that make good money, but they got a BMW payment, they got child support payment, they got student loans. So they look at the whole picture. Okay, so once you're pre-approved, we're gonna try to find you the right home. We start walking through properties, we're pointing out things that are important, because we're gonna look at the systems. You may see a home and say, wow, that looks great. Well, you're a VA buyer. Okay, some of you may be FHA buyers. So that home needs to be in a certain condition. So it's important that you pay attention to the HVAC system, the roof, the electrical, the plumbing. So sometimes we see a house that looks good, but it may not be good for you and your loan type, okay? So we kind of help you and guide you through that. When we do find that house that you think is the right home, we still say don't get emotionally attached, okay? Just in case something happens. That I'm not being negative when I say that. I'm just being realistic, because once we get you, you say this is the right home, we put in an offer. If your offer is accepted, they're going to want you to submit what we call a binder fee, or a good faith
Estimate. A good faith binder.
Yeah, and then there's another name for it. So it's a binder, good faith. Carolyn, I'm missing one. Escrow is, so it's different names, but all that means is they want you to put a little skin in the game, okay? So if they accept your offer, they may want $1,000 or a couple $1,000. So to say, hey, we're setting this home aside for you, and you're serious about buying it. Now that money's gonna come back to you for your benefit, your closing costs, at closing, but in the meantime, it's gonna be held in an escrow account, okay? Then we need to set up the home inspection. While it may not be required, we strongly, strongly recommend that every buyer gets a professional home inspection. And we help by getting you a few quotes, but you can use any licensed and insured home inspector that you like, okay? We don't tell you who to use. We just help by getting you some quotes. Okay, once you have your home inspection, they may find things that we didn't know about. I don't care if it's a brand new house, they're gonna find something. Absolutely. Then we need to negotiate repairs. So we're gonna ask the seller, hey, can you do these things? Or you may say, oh, those repairs are minor, I'm good. I'm not gonna ask them for that. That's only 2 little minor things, So everybody's situation is different. We basically guide you through all of that, asking for those repairs. Now if you're VA, you have to get a WDO inspection. Wood destroying organism / termite inspection, and it must be clear. If it's not clear, we're gonna have to ask the seller to make repairs. Right. Right. The insulation.
Oh.
Sure.
Existing home. Right.
Sure. Yeah, when you. Mhm.
Right.
You can build from dirt. It's all about what your money says.
Absolutely.
You can get a custom home. It's like, how strong is your income and your credit? You can get whatever you want.
And
But
down
by
payment
building, it still doesn't mean it's gonna be perfect. I still get a home inspection, because I bought 2 brand new homes, and I've still had things that were wrong with them. So some of my people who buy new construction, some of them will get an inspection during the, before they close. Others will get it about, if you're gonna buy a brand new house, usually the builder's gonna give you a 1-year home warranty. So some of them will get their inspection around the 10th month so that they can give the builder a list of repairs and get it done prior to the 1-year
Absolutely.
warranty expiring.
Very good. Absolutely.
So
You have
if,
a lot of choices. There are a lot of choices out there.
sure,
But
Now-
it's still a tough market.
it is a tough market. So it's a lot of steps. So after you get your inspection and we get the repairs, you can't close without homeowners insurance. So we'll reach out to some reputable homeowners insurance companies to help you get some quotes. Again, we never tell you who to use, and we're not affiliated with anyone. So you can get your quote from anywhere that you like. Maybe it's a company that you have your renter's insurance with, or that you already have the homeowner's insurance with, or perhaps you've got your vehicle insurance with them. So you can get quotes and decide who you want to go with. We always tell people to try to get a company that's A-rated, because you want them to have good reputation in case we have a hurricane, something like that. You want to make sure that they're going to pay your claim. Also, you want to pay attention to your deductibles and the amount of coverage. So a lot of people don't know, when you buy a home, usually when you get homeowner's insurance, the standard coverage is going to be 2%. Your standard deductible is going to be 2%, meaning you buy a $200,000 house, you're going to have to come out of your pocket $4,000 in the event of a hurricane. So you may say, hey, well, can I get a lower hurricane deductible? So while we don't specialize in that, we can say, hey, you might want to ask them about this or that. So we don't really get involved to where we're saying this is the best one. We don't want to do that, but we just kind of, say, hey, get you 3 quotes and be sure to ask this question.
Absolutely. And to kind of bring it home, rent out there is really expensive, right? Right?
Sure.
At the end of December, I did a study. At the end of December, the average rent in Jacksonville was over $1,200 a month. That's expensive. That's a house payment.
That's what scared me in first becoming a homeowner, rent.
Yeah.
I already chickened out 2 times from buying a house. And I was about to do it a 3rd time, and when I was living in Virginia. But then I started going to check out the rent in Virginia, and I was like, went on back and bought me a house. I said, I pay $200 more a month for something that I can own.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
HOAs, homeowners associations. Yes. Okay. I understand, because some of my homeowners, they want an RV. Yeah. An HOA, you gotta abide by their,
So,
sure. Right. They told me to move my trash can to the back of the house. Yes. The bill.
on your own lot.
Sure. Yeah.
Moved.
That's
Right, right,
true.
right.
Mhm. Right.
He owns his land. He owns the land.
Sure. Right.
Right, right, right. You want space. Yeah, you
Sure.
want space. So yeah, so it sounds like you definitely need to own a home. You're not renting now, right? Because you don't like rules. Okay, okay. You're buying. Okay. Okay. That's not the one you want. Sure. 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 Yes. Mhm. Absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We can sell your house. Yeah, you can get that money and put it on that new house.
There you go. That's wealth, right? That's
We,
how homes
yeah,
bring
that's
wealth.
where how I made the most money I've ever had in my life was from selling my own primary residence. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I always tell a story about my husband and I. Our second home that we owned in Columbus, Ohio. We purchased that home for about 150. We sold it 7 years later for 200. What was it? 280, 230.
I
Not a
I
lot.
didn't.
No.
I bought one in 2000 for that.
What's the? You know what? I'm going to be honest with you, George. We did improve it by putting wallpaper everywhere.
Oh.
Which is a real estate agent's nightmare. But that's right.
I'd like to come over and see your home.
Hmm.
Sure.
Hmm. Wow. Wow.
That's
Hmm. To bring value. Hmm. Right, it launches you. So what you just explained is how people build wealth in home ownership. It will help launch you into the next home, or you can take those funds out. You can do home
invest in or
improvements.
whatever.
So Dee,
Yeah.
you just had a transaction, or
I close on Wednesday.
okay,
Okay.
got it.
So I'm selling my home because we don't have enough houses on the market, so I'm doing my part.
Hmm.
Pay a little extra.
Hmm. Hmm.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, two things help you not be in the red: the market, which increases in value, and then also paying that extra. So two things. And Dee Dee can speak more to the market and the value of homes currently.
See, I think you're in better shape than you know. But number, because you got a home,
Right.
you got equity in your home, okay? Um, so you're paying somebody a mortgage. So you got credit. You have credit, okay?
It doesn't.
So if you plan on getting a house, say you and your wife are getting in, if we use your VA loan, if 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 Annie uses your VA loan, and so you're gonna be in front. Your name's gonna come first, but then she could still put your wife on it, okay?
Absolutely.
And you will own the home together, just as you own that home together. So one thing about the state of Florida is even if you didn't go on that loan, you own that house with her. She cannot sell or refinance it without your signature. Yeah. No, you're probably gonna be on a fixed income at retirement, right? You're gonna be taking. She'll be bringing home less money than
Than she
her
was.
job. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay. So I would say the prudent thing is you two have to sit down and figure out what her retirement is going to be. Because if it is going to decrease, then the best time to purchase
Get
is
it
now
beforehand.
when you're earning more. But, well, then that's when you get a good lender, that lender talks to you about what's coming and what's pending. So we set you up for success, right? I don't want you out of your home. My husband and I don't have space for you and your wife, okay? You can't move in with us. So my goal as a lender, and most lenders, is to sit down and have those conversations with you. What is life going to look like for you? Or in conversation, if we're talking to you, Jay, who's with Guaranteed Rate, also, we're going to have to pick up on the cues. Oh, we're looking to retire to do this, and that, right? I've had a couple come to me once, give you an example, and they were newly married. So I had a conversation with them, and I said, okay, so we're going to purchase a home. How long are you going to be in this home? And they said, oh, probably 10 years. So my question to them was, are you going to have children? You know, let's talk about it, because wife may want to stay at home or spouse may want to stay at home. So then we really have to decide what we're going to do, how we're going to set you up at the pre-approval stage. But you have it sitting in your home. Your home is your savings account. You've been making payments. So a home is for savings. That's how home builds wealth, because of the equity in your home. So you're making that payment every month, and you're building wealth. You're building on that because the market is increasing.
Okay. Mhm. Right.
Okay. Absolutely. Mhm. 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 That is true. That is true. But as Dee Dee said, I think you're further along than what you think you
Yeah.
are. Between the value you have in your home and if you're truly on that loan, and that takes us looking at getting you pre-approved, and Dee Dee coming to assess your current home. So I think you're better off. Mhm. We good on time? I think that's it. We're done. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. Again, I'm Annie Thompson with Guaranteed Rate, and we have.
Dee Dee Robinson with Dee Dee Home Realty. Thank you.
Thank you. You can speak.
I do thank Annie um, for coming tonight, and Miss Dee Dee. Dee Dee, you bad, you good. We do appreciate it. Um, this is this has actually turned out better than I thought. In all honesty, um, educating is something that you can't think that someone knows something, because you know something until you hear the questions, and that's a good thing. As a minister, I have to realize that even as I teach, I can't teach as if one knows, because if I teach that way, then I'm not going to be totally open to what they don't know. And so tonight was truly a blessing to me. You didn't even know that the couple that was actually in the back, I didn't even know that they were actually dealing with what they were dealing with. I just so happened to call them. And when they came, they basically like, thank you, because we've been working with that, working on that. So tonight really was a blessing. Again, we went live as well as YouTube and stuff. And I think this is very good at what you're doing, and I do appreciate it. The community